The home is a complex environment. Communities are complex places, and so to be able to look at this data and take into account those complexities, I think, is important, which then allows us to, as we create interventions and as we create implementation models, that we keep in mind the complexities of the home, the complexities of communities.
Obviously, right, families might provide hardware and software in terms of access to computers and the different kinds of activities that kids participate in. But families also, I think, are important in terms of connecting kids to sort of enrichment opportunities, educational opportunities, learning opportunities, social and recreational opportunities that have huge benefits in terms of development, in terms of expanding the network, in terms of the learning opportunities and resources that might be available. And so the extent to which we can empower families to be able to do that in a more effective way, I think is a critical challenge that this report suggests is something we should be considering.
And so if we think about what the data is actually showing in regards to telling a full story, we have the ability to be more thoughtful in how we engage not only mothers, but fathers who are in the household or may not be in the household, and again, supporting the ability for young people to make these meaningful connections.
Now, what that tells you is that it's important to create a community, an environment, an ecosystem where young people can access people who are closest to them to learn about technology, to have these technology experiences, so that as they move between these spaces of home, community, and school, that in each of them there is someone there who they can gain knowledge from, share knowledge with.
If you wanted to change an attitude or disposition among young people about going into a field or career that they see to largely be filled by individuals that they don't think they want to be anything like, that it's pretty difficult to do. But when they have a chance to engage with a black computer scientist that can communicate them in very common terminology, talk about challenges in the community, explain how they utilize technology to address social norms, social conditions, that it makes the field and these careers a little more accessible.
So I offer the example of having engaged with a number of community-informed and led organizations like Kimberly Bryant's Black Girls Code, or Kalima Pride Force and Kino Labs Boys Code and Hack the Hood, are other efforts to ensure that African-American kids in particular have the resources and the skills required to hack themselves out of the very situations that are problematic when we think about their learning and development. And so if, again, we are not thoughtful about using terms that respond to the realities of young people, we miss that everything they're doing is innovative, right? Creating an app that allows you to survive is probably the most innovative thing that I can think that anyone would do. But unless we are thoughtful about those intersections and gaps, we really miss those opportunities to make those types of connections.
Throughout all of these programs, there needs to be an ecosystem, and that ecosystem needs to support the young person so that they feel comfortable enough to explore, regardless of what it is. If it's technology, if it's culinary arts, if it's animal science. So the exposure, the ability to explore, the opportunity to see what can be. Those are the types of opportunities and experiences that I think young people need early, and they need them often.
We hope that in looking at that data, that policymakers, researchers, as well as program developers will understand the importance of engaging parents as members of the ecosystem that have an incredible role to play in terms of digital equity.
I think in general, the recommendations and conclusions that I would draw from this report are, number one, we need to be doing much more to meet the interest level, the high interest level there is among African American youth to learn the higher level computer skills that are out there. These kids want to learn how to code, they want to learn how to make apps, they want to learn how to make websites, and it's a shame that that interest is being allowed to wither on the vine and not being fed. Number two, we need to think about getting them at very young ages, and especially girls. We need to be starting with the tween girls to capture and build on that interest.
And so how do we sort of, create pathways, opportunities, experiences where a greater diversity of young people are being exposed, right, to a diverse number of people within their network, particularly adults, right, who might have this kind of impact on them. An informal conversation, an interaction, an opportunity to participate in an activity can be a window into a world that, again, one could have never imagined.
There are also opportunities for us at the same time outside of the policymaking apparatus to change the way that we talk about and think about what's possible for kids, and also show up in their lives to model for them how technology not only allows us to be able to do our jobs in whatever form in which we show up, but can also be helpful in helping them fill some of these critical gaps.
Possibilities of failure is always easier to leap out on faith, leap out on commitment, leap out on belief in oneself when you have others believing in you too.